Well, hi, Tony Dale here. Yep, I want to talk to you about a very first world problem today. I don't know whether you have ever thought about the luxury of air conditioning and heating. I grew up in South Texas. I was born in 1947. My mother had me in South Texas with no air conditioning. It's amazing how we've just come to take all of this stuff for granted over the years. And when you have air conditioning, which of course I do, you begin to take it for granted right up until that one moment when it's 95 degrees outside and it stops. Or it's 20 degrees outside and it stops. That is why it is critically important to have a relationship with someone who'll be there when you need them to fix this thing. And that someone is a fellow by the name of Shawn McGraw, who is with me today from American Veterans Heating and Air. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, Shawn, is because your approach to what you do is very different. I mean, there are lots of companies that do heating and air conditioning stuff, but the name itself connotes something different. American Veterans Heating and Air. So let's start with that.
We start with that, but I do like something you brought in right in there just before that. So I want to start with that, if you don't mind.
No?
I liked how you mentioned having a relationship with somebody, and that is that basically cores up our entire value system of how we operate and how we do stuff. We're not looking for clients. We're really looking for people that we can interact with the relationship with. But to answer your question, I guess, since I sidestepped off of that, is I feel like we earned it. Well, I know we have. So I myself am a veteran. Served in the Air Force for 10 years. My wife did as well. At least 50% of them are veterans. Now, I say that it's not a prerequisite to work within our team is to be a veteran of the services. It is definitely a step up. So a lot of what I look for in there is derived from the values that we pulled out from years in service. That takes not just on the technical aspect, but on the as far as the culture within our group goes.
But let me step in to that because that connects to one of the things that makes the military unique is it is a community.
Yes.
And what makes America great is community. It's one of the things I think we've lost so much in modern times is a sense of community. And I know in your case that this is a big part of kind of your overall philosophical look at how you engage in your community and how your business can be part of all that.
Absolutely. And that even pulls deeper. I mean, well, I think God and country always go together, at least as far as I'm concerned personally.
Amen.
And most of the people on our team. So not to get preachy or anything like that, but I have a tendency to. So if I were to pull back and look at what is a great book to read for business purposes, well, I can't think of anything that I can pull out more from than the Bible.
Amen.
To pull from it. So initially, in my mind, Jesus himself was teaching us how to interact with folks. Initially, he said, "I came here to serve others. The Son of Man came to serve, not to be served."
And that is something that is. We have grown into this culture now where everything we've been told every bigger is better, bigger is better. And I'm seeing lots of smaller, very successful local businesses of various kinds being scooped up and becoming part of big corporations. Does that happen in your business at all?
We call them private equity companies. And in essence, they're trying to gain a monopoly on the market, so to speak. So a lot of these places will own 5, 6, maybe even 10 or 12 local heating and air conditioning companies around. So you're really not shopping around different places or having any variation in the services that are because you have the same guy at the top running it all and it's trickle down effect.
So let's talk about the very fact that you are local. What people are going to find with you is, from what you've told me, is a relational situation. I looked at your website, and one of the things I saw is in every review, it mentioned in almost every review the experience the person had with the technician that came out and worked with them, and how they were polite and they enjoyed them and they felt comfortable with and safe with them. And how do you teach your guys to do that?
It's a very difficult skill set to really pull off. So we spend an immense amount of time in training. We invest heavily into it. So part of that obviously goes into the professional technical aspect of the trade. We're always having to keep up with new technologies that's coming out in the field, and we have to be able to service what's out there and maintain them as they're supposed to. Because, I mean, the first thing you expect when we show up is that we fix your problem, right?
Right.
If we could be the nicest person in the world, if we don't fix your AC unit, we kind of failed, right? So that's a piece of the puzzle. But the other piece of it is that customer service experience. And one of the most difficult things, and my wife will tell me, I'm not perfect at this at all, but one of the things that we just inherently as human beings have an issue with is when we listen to people, we're generally listening to respond. And it takes a lot of training to listen to understand.
Yeah, well said.
So when we're speaking to a customer, because if we don't understand the problem, then we're throwing a solution at something that may or may not even be something of your concern. So that's one of the biggest pieces of really having a relationship. And I think that makes a big difference when we come across to folks.
So if someone wants to get a hold of you and experience your services, how would one do that?
The simplest way is to call our office. It's 864-435-0822.
On your website, of course, a lot of people do it that way.
Yes, sir. It's AMVET, so amvetair.com.
And you're available on Facebook?
Oh, yes. We're available on all the social media platforms, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, all the other ones that my daughter knows about that I don't. But
Fair enough. Well, Shawn McGraw, pleasure talking to you. If you have one of those first world problems I was talking about, well, don't let the first world problem take you by surprise. Put that phone number in your memory now so that when it happens, you'll know who to call. Thank you again.
Thank you, Tony.